probate and does mailing work. And I recently came across a lady who has built a really nice business, and one of the pieces of the marketing puzzle has been mail, but I suspect it's also her smarts and good looks and charm as well go a long way, help her along the way. We're excited to have a fellow colleague in the probate space, Donna Londot. Donna, welcome to our call today.
Thank you. Nice to have you. Nice to be here. Thank you.
I'm sure I mispronounced it. How do you pronounce your last name?
You.
Oops, I think we lost you. We got a little delay there. Donna, how do you pronounce your last name? No. Okay.
There
you go.
Did I?
Oh no, we're having some video problems. Okay. In the meantime, Donna, I think we lost you. And we lost her. Okay, so let's do this. Let me do some housekeeping before we get started. This is Probate Weekly. We do this every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a Zoom call. It's meant to be participative. So you can come in and ask questions either in the chat, come in live, raise your hand, put a question in the chat box, and we will do our best to make it as interactive as possible. There is Donna again. Donna, how you doing?
Fine. I don't know. You guys all froze, so I don't know what.
Okay, so your last name, please pronounce your last name for me.
Londot.
Very good. And
like my husband says, you don't say Depot, Home Depot, you say Home Depot.
Oh, there you go, Donna Londot. Very good.
It's French.
Very good. Very, very bougie. And glad you have the fancy necklace on, so we'll know that you're high end. And you're coming to us from the state of Arizona. Where do you live, and where do you primarily do your business?
I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a native. Originally from Tucson, and I opened up, I work now work kind of almost the whole state because Maricopa County is so saturated by a lot of things. Competition's good, but still pretty saturated. So still one of the largest areas for marketing, I think probate as well. So I decided to expand my market, and I'm in several markets now. Do you want me to keep talking or?
Well, you tell me, if somebody asks you, an attorney or a prospective home buyer or seller, how do you answer? What is your market? How do you answer that?
I'm sorry, you breaking up a little bit, but
okay.
I worked the Tucson Pima County market as well, and some of the small outlying areas. I opened up Yuma, Lake Havasu. So, and I'm a native, so I've literally been to all these places. So I feel I understand the business in this area. I also opened up an area around Little Rock, Arkansas, Pulaski County. I did it to an homage to my mom. My mom passed a year and a half ago, and that's where she was from, that general area. We did a lot of research on what would be a good probate area, and Pulaski County came up pretty high on the list. And we've done several wholesale deals I've got one right now in Jacksonville, actually. And we're deciding to expand Arkansas because we're doing so well there. So
nice. And how do you describe your business? What percentage of your business is as a real estate agent? What percentage of it is investor wholesaler?
I would say pretty much 50-50 at least right now. I really started like a year and a half ago, really started marketing more in the wholesaling, learned a little bit about it from Chad originally. And then I took a course with REIN, Women's Real Estate Investment Network. And they kind of talked a little different avenues of being an investor. And it gave me an insight to some new perspectives. And I really probably enjoy it the best. And I really enjoy probate the best. I mean, I mostly work by referral in my regular real estate business. So
what percentage of your business is probate real estate today?
But one of my passions is like Chad taught us is to really teach people how to not necessarily go to have to do probate. Hopefully they will learn from me some information and be an influencer. I just got out of my REMAX convention and we talked about being an influencer, right? And being an influencer to teach people how to not have to go to probate. I know my family didn't have to because I researched it in advance and made sure we had everything in place correctly for them so that we never had to do probate.
Okay. What percentage? And I think that's fantastic. We talk about that in this show quite a bit. We've invited in estate planning attorneys and resources. So I'm definitely right on. And Chow is a big part of that. So, but I still call that part of my business probate, right? Trying to get people to avoid probate, to me, is part of my probate business. So what percentage of your business would you say is probate related? What percentage would you say is not? Maybe more regular retail business?
What, I literally would tell you last year it was about 50-50, literally.
Okay. Okay.
I did 50% of my regular real estate. If I had my way, I kind of would probably do more of this and do toward the investor side than I would just as a regular real estate agent. I really like it a lot because I think I could be so much more creative and I have a lot more ability to help the clients at another level. That I think sometimes the being a real estate agent, it's good to have the information and have the knowledge, but I think that it's not necessary to help the people the low we can with probate, to be honest.
No, I think that's great. Great answer. And so, again, helping people avoid probate, is to me the same as probate. So your business now, I had a question lined up there and you enchanted me with your answer. Now off track. So how would you describe your lead generation activities today? What do you do?
Sorry.
Obviously you have a following, you have people who know you. Oh, I know the question I wanted to ask. Does your marketing in your probate business, how does that affect your non-probate, your center of influence or your sphere of influence? Does it help it, hurt it, or is it neutral?
No, it helps it because I have a level of knowledge that the average agent doesn't have, for sure. They just don't understand it. And people reach out to me all the time between Women's Real Estate Network and somebody from the call last week on this call or whatever, the other one that you do with Chad or whatever, from Probate Mastery reached out to me afterwards just because I still feel like I need to learn more about probate. And I try court, by the way, 6 times, but our court now is completely virtual here. So we can't go into 10. So one of my goals is to actually meet with some of my attorneys I've already been getting referrals from and act with them. I know they trust me and they do business with me and teach them more about that estate. What's that? The website?
EstateExec?
Yes. To explain more of that to them and try to explain to them how they also can be an influencer in my business and with their business. I can help them, and kind of sit down with them a little more detail than I've done before, and really be on purpose because I really like to do a lot more.
So for those who don't know, the EstateExec is a service or product that Donna and I have been introduced to through Chad Corbett's Probate Mastery Program. And it's a tool designed to assist in the collection of all the forms and information in the estate planning arena. And he teaches it and presents it in a way that creates value. It creates a tool that you can bring to an attorney to create value in your relationship with them, whether it be the product or using the product. And so Donna's using it. Now I'll just say full disclosure, I don't use it. Not that I don't think it's great. It's just, you can only do so much and I do as much as I can. And then that didn't work out. So using the EstateExec product, that's fantastic.
I'm just learning about it though, Bill.
Okay.
So I haven't really used it a ton. I did this trial on it and whatever, but I think it's a great thing to promote to the attorneys. It's something new I can promote to them that I haven't before. Always
looking for something new to promote. And if it works, you run with it. If it doesn't, try something else, right?
Exactly.
And then just to highlight something you said for everybody, because I get asked this question all the time, I answer it and nobody believes me. So believe Donna, she's more believable than I am, which is I used to ask her here, she's been a successful realtor for how long have you been in real estate?
21 years.
21 years. And she says, I asked her a question, does marketing probate hinder or hurt or help your other business, or is it neutral? And she said, it helps it. Of course it does, because having more resources, having more tools in your toolbox makes you more valuable to prospective customers. There's like layers on. So again, I say it all the time. I'm just so happy to have you say, if you could just say 3 times Bill was right, I would really appreciate it, Donna.
Bill's right, Bill's right, Bill's right.
And then if you could send that to my wife in a text, that would be great too, because she doesn't believe me. Okay, good. So, hey, you guys, again, if you haven't, I see the great networking, and some of you guys I have not met. I'm anxious to reach out to you myself and meet you and do some networking. Khalifa, wow, there's a name from my past. A nice welcome to our call today. Put your contact info in there. Tell us where you do business, where you want to do business, what you can bring value if you're a vendor, and we'd love to have you continue to do that. So, Donna, what caught my eye was, I think it was a video you did or a post about using mail for your real estate business. I think you specifically use it for the wholesaling, though I can understand easily how that generates listings in probate business as well. Can you describe a little bit about the mailing program you've done and how that's working for you?
Great. I did the mailing through all the leads originally when Chad taught us how to do the letters and things like that. I also listened to a podcast, Sharon Volton.
Mm-hmm.
I can never say her name right.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually adapted her letter now. Her second, the letter, I use that letter first. And I haven't been the greatest about sending out second letters right now, but I've solicited a person, because Chad encouraged me to do this, to actually compile all my data from all these lists. It's around 3,000 of them now, and categorize them. And then I could start mailing on to them on a consistent basis. And I learned about the new program. Actually just got the things on it today, open letter marketing, because I've been handwriting. I've been buying the envelopes it's an invitation style envelope, ivory color from Kelly paper. I hand address every one of them, but the letter is typed, and then it looks like I signed it. Originally I used to sign it, but it got too many. So I signed it. And on my letter, I also add my QR code, which has the QR code to my probate estate website. And I specifically always say probate and estate, so I can kind of cover everybody, because everybody has some, a property has estate, right? It doesn't have to be large or expensive to be an estate. And then I put those in an envelope. I mail it with a regular stamped envelope stamp every week. I do that, typically on Wednesday afternoons. And then I've been so busy with all of it that I haven't done I'll be honest with you, I haven't done any phone calls at all unless they come to me. So I know that if I get a second letter and a third letter out there, it's even going to be more powerful, because I'm getting good results from just one letter.
Wow.
So I never don't get, there's about 75 is all I'm sending out a week. The list is scrubbed, so it's a more on purpose list, because it was something I could handle. All the leads, my list was up to almost 500 in just Maricopa County, and I couldn't handle that many by myself effectively. And now the list is different than Chad teaches, so I know that. I told him that it's actually scrubbed in a sense, and I know they have real estate. So I'm only contacting very directly the people that have real estate. So I'm more on purpose, and it's more effective for my time. So I'm doing that. So that's why I only have about 75 a week right now, with the few, like 6 counties. Some of them are really tiny though. But and then the phone, I usually get at least 1 call a week, at least, without anything but just the one mailer. So I know that if I'll be more effective, because we all know after the 5th mailer or whatever, you're going to get more. And so I'm trying to organize it right now so that I can handle it though,
Nice.
So I hope that answers your question.
Well, let's have a discussion on the topic. So I think a couple of things for people listening. Donna's not a brand new agent who fell off a cabbage truck and started mailing, got phone calls, and closed them to sell property. In 21 years in real estate, she sold hundreds of properties. Hundreds. So she knows how to sell a house, and she knows how to talk to a prospect into listing with her or selling with her. Right. And I think that's a key important distinction. So when you do call them, Donna, how important is your past experience? While it might not be in probate specifically, how important is your general real estate knowledge, your ability to talk to people and have conversations? How important of an asset is that for you to be able to convert those phone calls into business?
Really important. I mean, to me, the conversation is always about them and what their needs are. It's not about me. I'm not a bragger anyway. That's not naturally. I just got an award at Remax and I didn't even go to the actual ceremony. I just went and picked it up because it's really not my thing. I mean, it's great that I got it. Don't get me wrong, but it's really not about that to me. It's about me being better each day and being more effective each day to my clients. So I want to, and sometimes I don't get every deal for sure. I don't get every deal, but some of those people still call me or still refer me, even if they didn't choose me to buy their house right then or to sell their house for them. So I still think that's effective. Working my business that way. So, I try to build a rapport, find a commonality, the typical Ford, FORD, right? And build a rapport with them and then try to find out what they really need. What are the key things they really need? And I think the main thing is I don't try to spend time on a bunch of other stuff that I know, right? That they may even need to know eventually. But I try to spend time on only what is important to them if they really do tell me what's important to them. And sometimes that's hard to pull it out of them,
Right. It's a little intimate, to use that word purposefully. It's a little intimate for people to tell you they need the money or why they need the money. And some people don't want to have to admit that. And it's difficult sometimes. And there's an art to talking to people to get them to open up that you've obviously mastered at some level and you continue to improve. So again, I want to make sure everybody on the call here is she didn't just throw out some mailers and get some business. This was kind of bolted onto a successful business, an award-winning business, bolted onto to increase it rather than as a way to launch it from scratch. So let me ask you, Donna, if you were starting out from scratch, not that you are, or not that you're going to, even if you restarted, you're not starting from scratch, but if you turn to the left or right, there's a new agent starting from scratch, would you recommend that they do mailers from the very beginning? Is that a tool the new agent should use?
It's probably one of the more expensive tools. I mean, it's going to cost you money if you're on a budget. It's going to cost you money, but I absolutely say I would do that. And I think the other thing I was going to caveat is I think the key is having an online presence. So even though I have been in the business for a really long time, and I have partners with my my wholesale business and stuff, they don't have a presence at all as a real estate agent or anything like that. I have 5 or 6 websites plus my Facebook page. And I am not super active on Instagram, and I definitely don't do TikTok, at least not yet. They're trying to get me to. But I'm just telling you, they Google me, and my name's a little different too, but they Google me and I have a presence. And I think that that's key because people I'm just doing land flipping too. And the thing they've noticed is they want to see if you're a real true person or if this is bogus. You know what I mean? They don't all think that all this marketing stuff is a real person that's really going to follow through. And I never put my name on a contract that I'm not going to follow through with. I will do everything, including lose money if I have to make sure the deal goes through, because that's my personality. I would never put myself into a contract. And a lot of wholesalers, for instance, do. Like they just get it under contract and they never intend to close. That's not my goal. So I think that online presence super helps me be that. And I feel like I need to even do more of it. Like I need to do more videos, and I don't necessarily like to, but I think I need to, because I think it's a way to be an influencer. Like I've been learning that word, like that's really important. Influencer. My kids talk about it. I don't know if you guys have kids. My kids are in their late 20s and 30s, and they all talk about influencers that are 20 years old on YouTube making hundreds of millions of dollars, like because they're an influencer, whatever the heck that is, right? They don't even sell a product, right? So I think it's really important to put it out there, and I'm going to do more. I have professional YouTube videos done, and I actually do have one on probate, but my hair is red, so I got to redo it. So I think that's important to be that. I have one for attorneys and I have one for the public to just explain what probate is. You know what I mean? And anyway, it's just now.
One of the things that strikes me,
and I'm not perfect on it at all. So
one of the things that strikes me about people in real estate is how many are anonymous. You're talking about being real. For example, having a phone number where people call and either I answer or I get back to them at that phone number is so important. And people say, I'm surprised I have a chance to talk to you. Like, Yeah, I mean, and I'm doing a lot of business. I mean, I make a lot of money, and I'm really proud of what I've done. But I'm not too busy to turn a phone call from somebody who wants to list a house. I mean, or an attorney who wants to talk about their client selling property. I have all the time in the world to talk about that. And so I think it's important. So many real estate agents are so private. I think you could be found out. It's not like you could really hide from somebody who wanted to do damage to you. You're only making it harder for people who want to do business with you as an agent, trying to find the other agent out. Who are they? Are they full-time? Do they know what they're doing? What agency are they with? It's just surprising me how many real estate agents are private, and I just think it's a mistake, and you're missing the opportunity. And then just go back a little bit. You mentioned Sharon Vornholt. She's from Kentucky. Now, to those of us in California, it's all the same, right? It's all SEC, basketball, football, kind of that area in the South. But Sharon's a great coach. I interviewed her on my YouTube channel, and I'll put her contact info in the chat. I think I did in the chat box. But she's a coach in the probate space, more for investors and wholesalers than realtors specifically. But she's a really, really great.
Her specialty is probate.
It's probate investors, probate wholesale, and she's great, spot on, and definitely worth looking into. Okay, so you get asked this question a lot, because I know I get asked this a lot. And somebody in the chat box asked the question, which is, if you were starting from scratch, what would you do? And so would you, for example, I asked you, would you do mailers? You said yes. Is that the first thing you do, or what do you? Give me a 2 or 3 minute overview of what you would recommend to an agent who is looking to get started in real estate and wants to focus in the probate space.
Well, I do Chad's program, hands down, because I've done 2 programs, and his is by far the best in the nation. It's the best. And because of that, he sets you up for success, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You learn the basics from the beginning, and then you learn it, and then you have ability to be creative. I'm a trainer and a mentor too. And one of the key things I always say to people is, you need to learn it, internalize it, and then personalize it. Do not personalize things right away, because when you do that, it's probably the thing that makes it work. So you need to make sure you don't do that. So I would definitely say, do your training and then get started. Don't just say, wait until I do all of that and then get started. I'm big on that too. I'm a starter for sure. My business partner is not. We probably wouldn't have done any deals so far if we would have waited for that. So that's because it's just a different personality. So the key important thing is for you to get started. So whatever it is that's if you want to make phone calls, right away, again, I always say you're not going to hurt somebody by giving them a phone call. If your mind and your heart is in the right spot and you're trying to help them, then that will come across to them. And so, making contacts that way. Also, anywhere you can talk about, once you start learning more about probate, and be more effective in it, like you would need to truly master it, I think, because there's questions that come up, and too, Bill, there's like different things. Every situation is different. I finally just had to help somebody do an affidavit of real property because she didn't own it. It wasn't large enough of a estate for her to do a regular probate. And I ended up going down to the courthouse myself and taking it. I learned myself. I took it down. I got it. You can do it for them. They didn't even know that. She's in Oregon and I'm in Arizona, and the property's here, and I'm selling some land for her. So, she just 90 years old, and they've owned it for 150 years in her family, the land. Wow. So we had to get it into her name, and and her able to sell it because of it never was transferred and all that. And they kept trying to fill out the paperwork, her and a friend, for over 6 months or more. And they kept missing things, and the court would send it back. So I knew exactly what they're missing as soon as I saw it, just basic real estate. And I did it. I literally typed it. I asked permission. I said, do you mind if I type this up for you and then just send it for you to notarize? Are you good with that? Or do you want to fill it out? But they've already had problems, and she loses things. So I had to make a contact with somebody. I even had to have a friend I found out from old high school friend from Tucson, lives 15 minutes from her. I sent him over to have him help her sign it, because I couldn't find anybody to do it and get it back to me.
Right.
So So you have to do what you have to do. That's my personality anyway within my business completely, is doing the little extras for
Right.
people.
Solving problems. You get paid yourself.
I hope that answers your question, but
It did, but more than answer the question, you're really exemplifying, I think, the right attitude, which is most real estate agents will say, what's the easiest way to get business? I said, well, I don't know. It's the opposite. Show me the hardest way because nobody else will do it but me. But now I'm the only one behind the lines doing the business. And to your point, I've gone to court, for example, LA County, we need a certified copy of the judge's order. The judge won't do it in chambers. You have to send in the form. It takes a few days. If it's done correctly, he'll sign it. And then you have to go into the courthouse to get a certified copy at the document department. Well, I happen to know that, post-COVID, it's open. First floor, you go in, you wait in line, you pay the fee, you fill out the form, they give it to you on the spot. I have a closing waiting for this form, and the title company says, well, because of COVID, it's going to take 3 or 4 days. No, it won't take 3 or 4 days. Just go to the courthouse. You walk in. I've been there. It's not mysterious. It's not difficult. But because you've done these things.
I did that exact same thing and took it to an escrow company and made sure it got done. Yes.
And if you've done everything in the process, and there's really no mystery to it.
No.
I also find, tell me if this is your experience, I find that the probate real estate space is full of people, vendors and competitors and the other agent, whether it be a buyer's list side, and attorneys who know like 80% or 90% of the information, and they talk like they know 100%. And they'll all come tell each other things that are wrong, and they're all agreeing with that. And they're conservative because they know they don't really know, but they don't want to be wrong. Versus if you've just done it, you know the answer. It's not complicated, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people just learn the stuff.
That way. I'm kind of kinesthetic or whatever anyway, visual. So I learn better when I physically do it. So when I train, I do that too. I have them use their computer and their mouse, and I tell them where to go, how to find it.
I tell all the time, it's just the same thing when I was a kid, and I'd ask my mom, how do I spell this word? What does she say? Go down to in our den and get the dictionary and figure it out. And if I didn't, she'd watch me. If I didn't, she'd make me go down and get it and figure it out, because the best way to know is actually do it by hands-on.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some great questions. Let's see. Somebody asked who his name was. So Donna mentioned she and I both participate in probatemastery.com. Chad Corbett was the head coach at alltheleads.com, which is where I started with him. And they have a program still without him. And I actually use their website and I use their brochures, and they're nice guys. They have a nice group call it was today at noon or whatever it was this morning, 10 o'clock this morning. I go on that. It's on YouTube, alltheleads.com. Chad Corbett left and started his own company, Probate Mastery. And for my money, that's the best training program in the business. It's a little more expensive. There's some cheaper ones and easier ones, and you get what you pay for. But I actually am part of the faculty in the sense I contribute and host a mastermind there. I don't get paid. I'm not a staff member or anything, but I need that program because I need that program for my business. So I'm supporting that. Okay. And then she asked, we got a great question from Megan. How do you find the people who need probate? So Donna, do you subscribe to leads through alltheleads.com?
Not anymore. I get it from another company called foreclosuredaily.com. They're also called kirkdata.com. They have like 3 different names, but they're the same company. They were recommended through Women's Real Estate Investment Network group. So I get a little discount from them because I'm with that.
Great. So yeah, so Foreclosures Daily has
the leads are not necessarily cheap. I mean, I pay. Yeah, they send me the lead. I go onto the website and download the leads each week because we pay for a year in advance. But you can pay month to month and test them. For the first year, we tested them by 3-month intervals. And then after we did 3 months, because we wanted to open up, besides Maricopa, I wanted to open up other counties. So we were testing which other counties were going to give us the results. And I just don't think anybody's working Pulaski County. So because
Okay. So Megan, and I'll also add, Donna's caught up a little bit here. I'll add to her answer, Megan. I'm not sure where you do business, but I can say that certain counties have more options than others.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
is how did she decide which counties were the best for her, or which?
Well, that's a different question. I was answering a different question. In
Okay.
her, she's supposed. I think what she's saying is she lives in Maricopa, and then as she's expanded her business, she's moved out. I'm sure she has contacts in these outlying counties, and so she's moved out a bit. I'm the same way. Last year, I sold houses in 9 counties in California. Not on purpose. I had LA business that caused me to get business outside of that. This year, I'm actually prospecting in Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, Ventura, Santa Barbara, in addition to LA County. I'm actually looking for team members. If there's anybody's interested in talking about joining my team, going to the court weekly, at least in those other counties, love to talk to you about it. So expanding your business is more of a business decision. But your question was, where do you find the people? And the answer there is she subscribes to a data source, which is, in her case, she started with all the leads, which is a more expensive option, good quality. There's a lot that comes with it. They also give some coaching and other features. In a CRM and some other things. And so it's a good place to start if you have the money to invest in that. But then there's other companies. In fact, if you go to my website, the LAProbateexpert.com, on the far right page, I have a list of data sources. Now, I've tried to put everyone that I know there, and Foreclosure Daily, the one that Donna uses, is on there. And there's actually a coupon code if you use them to give you a discount. I don't get any money off of it, but you get a discount. And they'll send you a free book with that as well. So if you know of another data source, if you're on this call or replay, please let me know. Or if you have feedback on any of them, let me know. But so Donna's saying she buys the leads. Some counties, Megan asked a question. Megan, where do you sell real estate, or where do you do business? You're muted, so either put in chat box. But so some,
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
So Atlanta. So in Fulton County and related counties around Atlanta, you have lots of choices for data. Same as Los Angeles County, lots of choices.
Right.
There's less choices of competitors in other counties as well. In Georgia, you have a lot of small counties, and some of those counties don't have data available for sale from all vendors. So there you might have to pick and choose where you get from. Great. Okay. I think I'm up to date on the chat box. The question of the week is, I want to ask you this one, Donna. On my Facebook group, Probate Experts, you're all welcome to join for free, the Facebook group that I have. And we get people come in there with leads, and we're looking for referrals all the time. So I'd love to have you participate there. So the question of the week was, hi, Bill, my neighbor passed away. I get this one all the time. And the property was in a trust. What would be the best way for me to reach out to the family and offer my services? So, Donna, if you got that question, I'm sure you must get that question. Once people know you do probate, whenever a realtor knows anybody dies, they're going to call you until they get this question answered. What we tell a realtor who says, my neighbor passed away, what do I do? The translation really is, what do I do to get the listing?
Well, to me, I would go over personally as a neighbor, first, and I would just talk to her and see where her needs might be. Like where's some of the problems you have, and what things are you concerned about? And maybe she has no clue, you know what I mean? And it will be key not to overwhelm them. Okay. Because there's a lot to the process, and they have to do most of it. The attorney, even if they get an attorney, doesn't do what Chad teaches 25% of it or something. We do, they have 75% on their plate. So I think just finding out every personality is different. One's going to be more detailed than others. Others are going to be more about the safety and security of their information. I mean, they're all going to have a different thing that's important to them. So you have to build a rapport with them in the space that you have some experience, or you have resources. If you're brand new at it, you have resources to get the answers about probate, and become a resource for them. That's kind of where I would start. I don't know, Bill, what you would do, but.
Well, I mean, I've literally had this happen recently, about 5 houses up. A woman passed. It was a husband and wife, and we'd known them. They were elderly, and then he passed, and we'd see her, on the street. And then when she was later, her caregiver would walk her on a wheelchair, and we'd say hello to her and chat with her and kind of knew her a little bit. And then she passed, and you see the family come in and they're removing items and such. But it's one of those things where, as I know I can help them, even though in this case, if it's untrust, there's not the probate process generally. Sometimes there's some litigation, but generally there's no special magic as a real estate agent. But I am specially trained and have resources on. They've been doing estate sale and trash out and all that work that they do. But for some people, they find it cathartic and they want to do that to process the loss of their parents. So, frankly, I've been busy enough. I love that listing, but at the same time, I'm not chasing the listing. I make myself available, and if they want to use me, great. I think that when realtors ask the question, you want to be so good people chase you, not you chase them. And it's one thing, as Donna said, I love the way you said that as a friend. We knew this woman. She was a very cute older lady. We always would say hi to her, and she was walking around in the wheelchair with her caregiver. But I don't want to be undignified and chase after a listing. I want to be of service to family if they think they can handle it and they don't need me. One thing I've learned is when the customer thinks they don't need you, that's a miserable listing. When there are certain people who believe because they read Zillow, they know more than you. They are miserable clients. They're the ones who end up becoming a realtor and they overprice the house. I can tell you a couple horror stories that are recent. And so I learned my lesson is not to chase people. If you want to work with me, great. If you don't, I have enough phone calls to make not to deal with that.
I had something similar happen just down the street, like 3 doors down. And the man passed away about a year ago, and then she just passed away about 3 months ago. And I didn't really know. I tried to give him cookies before, and he was kind of like ill, like he just didn't want to deal with anybody, didn't want to come to the door. So I've tried to be neighborly with him before. And but I found out. And so I waited till I saw when I didn't just like keep watching, but when the family members would show up to do something with the house, I made sure I drove by and stopped, and I never mentioned that I was in real estate at all initially. I just said that I'm a neighbor. I'm so sorry for your loss. And if there's anything I can help you with, I have resources I can help you with if you need someone for the estate sale or somebody that cleans up or handyman. And I didn't say I was a real estate agent at all. I just said that. And I was a neighbor. And then they said, oh, no, we've got actually everything taken care of. I found out they did not have to do probate. They actually had everything in order. So I said, good luck. And, just let me know. I'm just 3 doors down. I didn't even give them my card because I thought that was just so aggressive. That's just my personality, that I didn't want to do that. And we see them now, we talk to them. And so it ended up selling the house within a family member. So it stayed. So I've had it happen too. And I just don't like pouncing. I wouldn't want that done to me. So, and maybe I lose a few, but I feel like that's more important.
Yeah, I think how you feel about yourself, having your self-respect will lead to more business in the long run. I think that's an important part when you feel the value of yourself. A couple questions on vendors. If you want to share, great. If you don't want to, I respect it. We're not, you're not getting paid here, so I don't get anything you're not comfortable with. But somebody asked, can you share who you use to organize your contacts? Is that something you're comfortable sharing, or should they reach out to you directly, or is that something? Yeah.
Me? Oh,
mention how you're combining your different data together to do your marketing. Do you mind? This goes back about 10 minutes or so. Do you mind sharing that? How did you put all that together? Is it you have your own assistant do it? Do you have a vendor that put together?
Oh, I'm having someone create my list for me because Chad told me I needed to.
Correct.
So I had a conversation with him. So I was feeling overwhelmed. So he said that I really need, he called it an integrator. I can't think is the term, and he's making me read a book that I'm reading right now.
Oh, good. What book?
Get out, or what is it called? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I've never been in the corporate world. I've always been self-employed, but I get the general, get a grip.
Okay.
Have you read that or listened?
No, I made note of it though.
I'm an audio person, so I listen to it, but it's more about structure within your team and having the right people in your team in the right place, right? The right personality in the right place. So it's about that. So he said I need to first get an intimate. So I literally immediately the next day called around and asked if anybody was doing it or knew who someone to do it. And then one lady said, well, I kind of do that. So she said, I'll meet with you. And I go, okay. So I met with her for breakfast, and she does kind of like consulting business. And then she compiles information for people for their businesses to get them organized. So I asked her to take my whole big list and literally a paper sack full of return mail. And I asked her to put it in the system for me. And then she came up with ideas of tabbing each. I'm not an Excel spreadsheet person. Okay. I don't know how to make them at all. I don't want to learn how to make them because I know enough to get someone else to do it for me. So I know what I'm good at, and that's not it. And so she's making tabs for me so that we can sort it by date. We can sort it by when I got the lead. We can sort it by name, by address, however we want to sort it. So it's kind of nice. And she's almost finished with it. It's taken her about a week and a half. But again, we have about 3,000 in that list. So it's a pretty nice list. So I waited a long time to do that. Don't do that. I would suggest that's the one thing that was really good about all the leads. If you do use that program, is the CRM and stuff allowed you to keep organized with all that stuff because it was in the system. Right. All the leads were in the system for you. So you didn't have to do it outside the program. Right. So I think that's really a good thing. So I know that I just listened to a thing with Sharon about the CRM because everybody's been trying to sell different CRMs and it's really hard to figure out which one's good for my investment part of my business. And so this Involve, which is a free CRM, and I just did a 2-day training with them for free, and it was excellent. Their system seems to be really good. And then you can have a paid version where you have access to a few more things. And then it integrates with the direct mail program. So, nice. And their direct mail program, which I just mentioned to you, open letter marketing, I just got this in the mail. She highly suggests that she doesn't mail it personally, hand addressed anymore herself, but she does use the hand addressing format. They literally use a pin, but it's with a computer.
Yeah.
Physical pin.
Yeah.
So it isn't a ton more expensive than you doing it yourself because they're getting it cheaper. The stamp's cheaper, even though it's a 60-cent stamp, it says the cost for 60 cents and all so forth. So it works really well. But a live stamp is key, and the envelope and the way hand addressing is key. I mean, I know that that's key. It works. And Chad always taught us that. And then you need to get your vendors together, like you said, estate planners, estate sellers, handyman, cleanup people, trash out people, and just start talking to people to build your team. And I call them my team, and I don't take a kickback from them. I know technically you could, some people say, but I don't do that. I just want reciprocation.
Right. I have people all the time offer like $150 for this or that. I say, on a real estate commission, I make like $20,000. So if I just got one of those a year, that would be cool. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't need that $150. It's nice.
So if anybody wants to reach out to me for any more, I can't think off the top of my head. I think the key is I think it's really key to have a website. And I don't know that I've only gotten 2 deals off my website, off my All the Leads website, but I know that people have gone to the website. Does that make sense? They just didn't through the website. And again, it gives me that presence and that professionalism, and they're so well done. The website's so well done. It's very
they're just checking. You don't know how many people checked your website before they did business with you. That's the other part of it. They're checking off boxes that, okay, she's on Facebook or LinkedIn. Oh, she has a website. Oh, she doesn't look like an idiot. Oh, she answered her phone. There's like 5 check boxes, and they all kind of work together. So
yeah, I don't remember how much it is to start your website with them, but it's only like $39 a month to keep it going. So it's really reasonable. It's like a steal. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's really, really well done. And then I bought 2 URLs. I do highly suggest you get some URLs that are like, that say probate, like yours say probate in your name too. We did one that was probate and estate, so it covers both angles. That way, when they Google the information and stuff, hopefully it hits, you get the pull from that. But but getting organized right away, I highly suggest that. I'm feeling crazed right now because I don't feel organized with my paper, with getting the second and third mailers out. And I think that that's a key to the additional success, to be honest. Yeah. And then I have been referred by my probate clients to another person before. In fact, I just closed on a subject to that I did a lease option on in Tucson. And so I'm owning it. I own it. And I was there at the appointment, I can't remember. It's because she was referred by this gentleman that I just sold his mom's house, his sister's house. It was a probate. And at the day I got there, they're from Illinois or somewhere, and they were there fixing up the house. And the day I got there, she got my letter in the mail. So it was so funny. So it was like a double whammy. And they already were talking to another agent they were about to sign with, and they completely did a reversal. Between my letter coming and the referral, it just sealed it.
Well, and they work together. I feel like just like the military, when they attack an enemy, they have like the army on the ground with artillery. They got the planes. They got the ships shooting missiles. They're hitting it from like 3 or 4 different angles, right? And I think marketing is the same way. And you don't know which one will hit them. You don't really care which one kills them. You just want them to be happy with you. Deborah asks who did the website. Let me solve this real quick.
All the leads.
Yeah, alltheleads.com. All ALLTHELEADS.com, alltheleads.com. And they have websites. They call them credibility websites. They have a coaching program. They have leads they sell. They're really a complete package in the probate space. They're a little more expensive, higher quality, full service, and do a good job. So they're the ones who do the websites. I actually got them to agree that I pay for the website and then paid, and they agreed to allow me to, as a customer paying still, copy the content on my non-all leads website. So I have a website through my company that I try to use as my master website. And so they're good guys, I think, overall. Okay, we've really covered a lot of material here. Donna, it's so funny because Donna asked me questions ahead of time. I'm not sure what we're going to ask. I said, Donna, I'm going to wind you up and let you go, and you're going to be great. And I think she was fantastic. So
they're asking me for the letter. I'm not sure how to load the letter onto the chat. I can do that. I just don't know for sure how to do it. I can try though, if you guys want me to.
Well, if you want to send it to me, I'd be glad to send anybody who asked me for it. I'll resend it. Is this an all the leads letter, or is this one you did on your own?
That's the one. That's Sharon's letter. Is the one I'm using now. I have all the leads too. So I use them. I change them up. I don't use the exact same one. Although Chad said the test market shows that it didn't matter if you changed it. He found it was still effective. It didn't matter if it said the same thing.
It's funny. I think with email marketing that, only a certain percentage open the email, but the open, they just click and look at something. They don't even notice. If you resend the same email, most people don't even notice it because they don't really read it and comprehend it and remember it. They just kind of get the feel of it. So if you had said to me, Donna, I'd be glad to forward it to anybody. Or if you want to contact Donna, when we wrap up, I'll ask for contact info. We'll put it in the chat box. If you have any questions, if you're watching this live, we have a bunch of people on YouTube, a couple on LinkedIn, Facebook. Feel free to put your questions there. We're going to wrap up here shortly. But if you do it after the recording, either I'll answer them, or if appropriate, or I'll circle back to Sharon and we will I'll get that answer for this, something specific to her. And then just a quick reminder, we do this every Thursday, 4 p.m. Probate Weekly. And then we have a Facebook group, Probate Experts. I'd love to have you participate there. In fact, let's carry the conversation there. If you have questions, that's a good place to put it as well. And if you're looking for that, the first person who puts on there looking for the letter will follow up with you. A couple other quick events while I have you guys' attention, if I could just steal from Donna for 1 second. After this phone call at 5:30, Agents Helping, I'm sorry, wrong one. Brew Real Estate is a monthly, first Thursday of the month. I host a free beer and real estate networking. There's no content. There's no pitching. There's no network. It's just networking. It's just agents get together and meet at All Susan Brewery. It's on La Brea in the Mid-Cities Miracle Mile area. Love to have you come. And if you're on this call and you register for the event, I'll be glad to buy you a free beer. So that's the Brew Real Estate Beer and Real Estate event. Friday in Diamond Bar, Friday's tomorrow, Agents Helping Agents. We do this monthly, the first Friday of the month at the Holiday Inn in Diamond Bar. From 9 to 12, we have a speaker. We have teams get together, talk about production-oriented material. And then we also have a phone call session we do weekly that if you come to that, you can sign up for. All that's free. Love to have you participate if you're interested. Okay. If you think Donna was great, put something in the chat box. Give her some love. If you don't think she was great, it was my fault. So sorry about that. But I thought she was awesome. So Donna, thank you so much for coming on today. It was really a blast having you.
Sure, I put my contact information there just in case. So.
Great. So if you have referrals in Arizona, if you have referrals on probate, I guess anywhere in the country, if you don't like me and you like Donna better, feel free to send it to Donna. She's a great resource. Donna, thank you so much for being on the call today. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you
Fantastic.
very much. I appreciate it.
And for the rest of you, again, we do this every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We live stream it on YouTube and Facebook. If I can help you, reach out at Bill Gross EXP. I'm building a national team of real estate agents across the country, as well as I help families and attorneys in California. So if I can help you, please reach out. Thank you for being on today. I thought it was really great today. Thanks for all those who asked questions and participated. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.